Hey Leslie, it's so good to see you today. I'm really grateful that we can have this time together.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me here to have coffee with you.
Virtually, I suppose.
Virtually, yes. I got some questions to ask you. And like I said, thank you so much for taking the time to connect with me. How has your dual master's degree in public health and international peace and conflict resolution shaped your approach to the work that you do in the philanthropic sector?
That's a great question. I appreciate you asking it. My background has shaped my approach in a couple different ways. Both of these degrees bring an intersectional and multidisciplinary lens to the subjects that I've studied. And so, what that means in practice is when I'm working with a family or a foundation, I see the complexities of an issue area like climate change or youth mental health and how multiple different issues kind of converge. It's not just one simple thing, but that there are multitude of issues that kind of impact it. Like, for instance, with climate change, there's the impact on human health. It's not just on the environment. And then there's also a need for environmental social justice, since in the US, communities of color, their health are disproportionately negatively impacted. So, a couple other ways it impacts my work is the theoretical concepts of behavior change in the public health sphere have been really helpful, honestly, in even thinking about initiatives at work and different projects and how to do them with clients and thinking about how do we help shift behavior? How do we educate? How do we inform? And then the other thing that I think a lot about, and I think this probably is just helpful in being a human, is my training in mediation and conflict resolution facilitation, because you just need that if you're going to be a human in community with other humans. But also, it's helpful working with families and complex dynamics. It's helpful since I co-lead our growing team at Geneva Global. And so bringing that conflict resolution perspective and the experience facilitating different tough discussions has really informed that work. It's also informed my work with justice, equity, diversity, inclusion at our organization.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. Now I have a fun question for you. Would you like to share your favorite coffee mug?
Sure. I think I use this almost daily. Oops, it disappeared for a second. This is actually, it says Love Heals on it. It's Thistle Farms. Oops.
Very nice.
They're an amazing organization that help women who have been exploited, vulnerable women who have been exploited back to work, bringing them back into kind of initiatives that and providing safe housing and other things to help folks. And they're based in Tennessee, but they work globally.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. I have to look that up. So my next question for you is what inspires you to focus on embedding justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion values into the work with your clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. We started, I think I'll have to go back a little bit. Because our work on justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, including my work, because I was here at the beginning of it at Geneva Global, started more with an internal focus at Geneva Global of how do we bring these values internally at our organization. And so we really began focusing on inclusion and belonging within our organization and how do we better, so that way we can create that type of culture that has a sense of belonging and inclusion. And so that way we can then start to serve diverse identities and folks who come to our organization better. And then we started to create more practices and policies that brought equity to our workplace. And so I think along that journey, we started to say, oh, how do these values then apply to the work with our clients? And this journey, started to simultaneously happen with some of that journey within the philanthropy space, where you start to see more equity coming to the work, where people are actually having conversations about trust-based philanthropy. They're talking about how do you bring equity to grant making. So we've kind of been on that, our own learning and evolution at Geneva Global. And then naturally, we started to then bring this work more client focused as well. And I think for me, what inspires me is creating a world with more belonging for everybody. I think that everyone deserves that and those opportunities, but also knowing that in order to do that is we need to have equity and we need to have justice for people who have experienced historical oppression.
If coffee could grant wishes, what would you wish for?
Well, I guess I should have already said this, but I actually don't drink coffee anymore. I have been a chai tea chai tree drinker now for many years. So technically, if tea could grant wishes, what would I wish for? Um, I, well, it's hard not to go deep here. I'm like, do I go deep or do
Exactly.
I
Go deep.
say?
Go deep. We're already there.
I guess what do I wish for? I think I'm going to sound like I'm at a beauty pageant. I mean, what, a little more peace, harmony, community. I think like thriving communities, that's what I wish for, where
Yes,
folks get to like live really fulfilling lives. Yeah.
sounds wonderful. What is exciting you about the philanthropy sector right now?
What's exciting me about the philanthropy sector right now is this, what I've seen, I guess, energy around conversations with funders about how do you center community more as opposed to the donors that are giving the money. And that's really exciting to me, knowing that that's going to increase the impact that philanthropy can have. It's going to make more meaningful change. It's going to be more sustainable. I just think it's really exciting to see centering community. I think that that's going to bring us a lot of places. And I think what part of what that means is it's also an equity journey. It's also part of the trust-based movement, the trust-based philanthropy movement. So all of those things converging together excites me, and it excites me of how we can apply those principles to with the donors and clients that we work with. So Leslie, I am so curious to hear more about how your previous experience working in HR at AmeriCorps as a program officer, how does that inform your current choice to pursue a graduate degree in philanthropy?
My previous experience in human resource has given me a better understanding of organizational behavior and employment engagement. It also equipped me with working with diverse individuals, especially in AmeriCorps with the service-oriented leadership perspective. That has helped me. Being on the other side of being the grantee instead of being the grantor, per se, definitely gave me that perspective coming into the foundation where I'm at. Having that understanding, that level of these where you know how grassroots organizations are coming and for grants or whatnot. Just being on the other side definitely helped me in that space. And overall, my experience collectively informed my decision to pursue a graduate degree by highlighting the need for advanced knowledge and skills, strategic management, and policy development, which I believe is allowing me to contribute more effectively in my field.
And do you feel that your hands-on experience as a program officer, is that allowing you to apply your graduate degree now more in real time?
Definitely, especially with the surge of nonprofits coming up. That's one thing that's always coming up in the courses that I'm in is so many nonprofits. So taking these classes have positioned me to be more strategic in how I review grants. And
Mm.
looking at that special niche that this organization, like if it's a mentoring organization, what stands out about your organization? Like really being intentional about that reviewing process as the courses kind of help guide me in that space as well. Had that lived experience, will never take away from that. So having that lived experience definitely equipped me, but then having that data to back it definitely helped in that space.
What advice would you give to other program officers looking to connect with organizations doing the work and putting DEI at the center of their work?
I would say take the time to authentically engage in the community and to really understand the individuals of the community and not take a top-down approach. And the more authentic you are, the more you are being intentional about being in those different spaces, um, the more trust you'll build, because without trust, you'll have this type of surface level relationships and you're not going to get anywhere. So I really think that those two things, like authentic connections and then not using that top down level, because the people in the community are experts in their own community, in their own rights. So really giving them that space and making sure that you're giving them those tools, whether it's giving them grants for capacity building or technical assistance, whatever, like getting it to them and getting out the way because they know. So, and like you kind of touched on that with yours saying trust based philanthropy. So I definitely think that is what the advice I would give to other program officers.
I'm so grateful there are program officers like you out there making that type of difference, and I hope that others follow this advice too.
Thank you.
If you could host a coffee party for fictional characters, who would you invite?
I would invite Miss Piggy because she is fabulous and she loves to eat.
I love
She'd
this.
be
Do
at
you
the
already
top of
have
my list.
topics? Does this mean Kermit comes too?
Kermit can definitely come.
Yeah.
He don't bring any drama, so he's good. He's laid back.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I got
Maybe you
Kermit back,
can
in the back somewhere. So yeah, Kermit can definitely come.
you can do some singing, some Rainbow Connection. What is exciting you about the philanthropy sector right now?
The grassroots movement. There's a growing emphasis on grassroots philanthropy and empowering local initiatives and communities to address specific challenges. And the engagement of the younger generations, like the new millennials, they're taking a more proactive role in philanthropy and they're advocating for causes that they are passionate about. And I think that is really is really great to see, especially being younger and seeing the up and coming leaders. So, it's like this ongoing thing that it's not going to go away once I step away, that it's up and coming younger generation that's really passionate about philanthropy.
It is really exciting to kind of see what's happening as the next generations are coming into more powerful positions in their philanthropy and their families, and also as the wealth transfer to the next gen is starting to happen, and seeing folks try to embed true social impact into their businesses. It's just a very exciting moment to be a part of this. And there's so many different tools out there that folks are doing to try to get more money into the community, into the organizations that need it most. And I'm also really excited about that. And currently, we're asking our friends, our partners, our different organizations we work with how they envision the world. So, my last question to you, Leslie, is how do you envision the world?
I envision a world where it is peaceful, it is safe, where kids can go to school and you feel safe when you send your kids to school, and there is no hate, there is no
Mm,
crime, there is just peace. That is that that is the perfect world for me, and no sickness. Just yes. I don't
I
know.
love that. That sounds nice. I would live there.